Greetings. First, give thanks and praise to the Most High, Creator of nature. Yeah, we do give thanks and praise. Now we are set the U.S. Congress for Cultural Freedom. I'm gonna share that information, yeah, in an effort to qualify a lot of the statements that I will make, but we like to use the ones them out the first on knowledge when them express it, and we keep it simple. Now I'm gonna say the CIA indoctrination agenda, them fund the music industry and never share a tape with our brethren and express as much as they can. And you're gonna see where it starts with the classical ones them and the uppity ones them. But as time go by, it matriculate to the rapper and the hip hop. Now I'm quite sure the attention is on the reggae scene, because them have to really try to get a foothold on we as West Indian. Them can't make we call ourselves West Indian. You're mad. The moment Donald Trump here we start arrange ourselves that way. Him know we are the truth. So you see go war with Venezuela through him know say them are some you know go on it still, but them are still foreigner in the Americas. And Donald Trump and the Congress know these things because them import these foreign people here. You know what, if him not come around here so come boy more wage no war. Or when we not have no big gun for fighting. Nah gonna do it. Yeah man, but only because we are what I'm called the original beings. The from time immemorial. So yeah, again, I'm saying the National Endowment for Democracy, I said, is in fact a CIA funded organizational institution. And then we have hashtag Maroons, hashtag Moors, hashtag Rasta, uh, the Rastafari movement, and one of them United Nations CIA sponsored organization. Them is the first set of ones where I say we were Indian round here are African. The very same Rastas you're gonna find say them and the Moors are probably one and the same until them get organized and start do them own thing. But all of them ideology come from the CIA, from the United Nations, or from some of these aids where them get grants and get money. You understand? And as such, so them are foreign owned, foreign controlled organizations, so them have to stick to a specific script and maintain a specific agenda. Our Indian nation is separate and distinct from all of these things. This is why I am he who will express it. Notice the Maroons can't come to these things. The Moors will not come and do these things. And now share this kind of information. You're mad. These information will expose these controls. That's why I was stand up in a truth. We're not begging no friend. We just I said truth. Just truth. Yeah, man. Irrefutable truth. That's it. Now, guys, I'm going to answer the basic information. Before me even share the tape, I'm going to just address the little part here where it says the Journal of Democracy is the world's leading publication on the theory and practice of democracy. Remember, it's just a theory. They might create something new and present it. And the CIA are orchestrated. And so since its first appearance in 1990, we get this from their official website. It has exchanged both activists, it has engaged, this is the National Endowment for Democracy, the CIA agents, has engage both activists and intellectuals in critical discussion of the problems of and prospect for democracy around the world. This is in 1919. Today, the journal is at the center of debate on the major social, political, and cultural challenges that confront emerging and established democracies alike. The National Endowment for Democracy, International Forum for Democratic Studies, produces the Journal of Democracy. They produce the Journal of Democracy, published by Johns Hopkins University Press, CIA own and control, and has added a diverse and impressive array of democratic or democracy related books, the Indoctrination, based on journals, CIA articles, and the papers presented at the forum's research conference. So, I just said that for, interjects about at least them up on the website. But when you see all these things, if you have a man where in the CIA will actively participate in these things, and after years and come and express it, we never know about these things. So this is why I say there's an agenda here specifically in our region, the Western, that's the West Indies area, what they call Caribbean area, specifically in this area. This is why you see the crime rate go up like that. This is why you see all kind of foreign weaponry come invade the island when the poor people and can't afford to even eat, much less fit organize and orchestrate these importation of these foreign weaponry. It's a agenda to destabilize our area, literally. So when we share information, when they are them sit back and look for all like they are them gonna say, it's like a map, it's like a blueprint, it's an express to know what is going on and what is to come, and one shouldn't be surprised. Should not be surprised. Remember, them I said them in a democracy, and me I say freedom, because I know there's a distinction between democracy and freedom. If democracy is a system of government by the whole population or all the eligible members of a state, typically through elected representatives. So for them, democracy are ruled by majority. Now, through freedom now expressed right there. While freedom is the power or right to act, speak, or think as one wants without hindrance or restraint. So, if we not have them kind of clarity, we're going to get beaten bad. And may I share them information if I say the Maroon organization on this island is a United Nations sponsored organization. That's why I see them so-called leaders or them agents like L.A. Lewis and Chief Curry and all of these people, you see them can flaunt a lot of United Nations CIA cash, literally. However, when me say it, them say, boy, a conspiracy. So I'm gonna give them a chance to hear somebody outside of me officially express and explain these things. Just for a few. So fair use for a little bit. However it work out, we're just gonna present it.
The relationship between the State Department and CIA and the music industry, I sort of started in the 1940s with jazz diplomacy. This was this period where the World War II had just ended, and we are now in a fight for geopolitical control over all the different neutral countries in the world.
Now you hear him say them in it from 1940. Now they are them do the research and say when Bob Marley get a contract from Chris Blackwell, that foreign transvestite from Britain, and see if it match up. That should be in the 60s, they might get those contracts. So these guys were at it for quite a few years. So this is why you say, when we as a people, the bongo man them used to chant and say, Israel, Israelite, oh, Israelite. This is when the CIA come and rearrange that. So we now say we are Israel, we now say Israelite anymore. We start say, boy, Selassie. We start say Africa. And the Duns them no know say some Arab control Ethiopia at that time, what them call Byzantine. Do the research, don't take my word for it. Don't make them tell you nothing. Just do the basic research. And then when the item have the clarity, come and share it with me so me can even learn if I'm wrong. But if I'm wrong and the item bring the clarity in, I'm not going to talk about, hey, me a bully you. No. Me I say, listen, my platform open, come forward and express it, and I will humbly say, I was wrong, here is the truth, make a move forward. But we not accept them sodomite out here to keep on and do what them a do, and want to worship them when them themselves no know say them in the bosom of the demonic synagogue where they out there. Yeah man, that's why I'm honor and rate the people and must stay away, independent. And that's why I'm right now I'm a fire burn massacre. Even when I'm an artist, even when I might play some tough tune them, but me know say I'm sell out. At the moment he align himself with a record company like Bad Boy Record. For instance, Bad Boy I get that way if you remove yourself from it. Any contract where you sign, you alone can break that contract, can cancel that contract, can terminate that contract, can make that contract null and void. You alone can do that. Don't make them feel like, hey, I signed contract and because of 30 years, all my life, you know that. No. If you decide say you want to change, you have the right to renegotiate the terms and conditions of any contract. This is why I tell the them say, you have to learn how to write on your own contract, or at least give a man like me a chance. Come pay me for them service there. Worse, when I add my house seal to it, give a whole another level of authenticity. Then I don't know now free people, no boy can't play with them. But no one pay me, no one pay me for do them work here for me, get up and can do the things that were necessary. I don't want to exploit me. I don't want just, usurp the little information that me I share freely. And would even say thank you. I don't want to deal with me like a crackhead that throw crumbs at me. But I not say nothing because watch me now, the universe herself, yeah man, I document and record it all. So when the payment for come, it come in full. And they have them feel how it feel. The earth not play man. Nature not play man. The universe not play man. And I always hear me chant one way. From my first step out here, I must say give thanks and praise to the mystic lords of the universe and its protective functions and forces in nature that guide our thoughts and our path in all ways that are lawful, correct, and positive. We do give thanks and praise. Is it true we're accurate? Yeah, we can substitute correct for accurate, but we don't want sound like, we're arrogant, so make we just stay with correct. But they are them know so we are on point. Yeah man, they are them know. Babylon out there know. Uno when the little local, you know, sleeping ones where the low IQ are uno clueless. But Babylon have a big floodlight for me. Surely.
World against the Soviet Union. And the Soviet Union has this communist government, and they're making appeals to Africa, among other places, saying that the capitalist society in the West is racist. They're discriminating against Black people. There's all this class injustice. So African countries should sign economic partnerships with the Soviet Union. They should have their governments be more aligned with the Soviet Union because they're more egalitarian. And so this was a lot of how the J. Edgar Hoover FBI was sort of calling a lot of folks who were pro civil rights
All right, you hear him say J. Edgar Hoover and the FBI. That's the agency we have counter intel, counter pro intel. Listen, we have a whole heap of information on that agency oppress, and even unalive our people back in the day before information was so prevalent. Now, because information is so prevalent, them not about them are really business. What I'm concerned about are energy like mine. The ones them were accurate, the ones them were precise, the ones them where is outside of them jurisdiction, authority or control. And them one that concern them. Because them no one, as they would say, was spoiled for them slave, them good slave, whatever. Them no one was spoiled them good slave.
They were calling them.
So them suppress with and oppress with, but them cannot stop with. That is an impossibility.
Communists and Soviets, because the Soviet Union was amplifying these kind of, there's racial discrimination against African American, stuff on their own media channels. And so in Africa, what the State Department did is it took, who were very popular at the time, these black jazz musicians, Louis Armstrong and the like, and would fly them as essentially music diplomats to Africa, and making the point to African diplomats and African civil society organizations that actually the West is does not discriminate, the Soviets are wrong. And so you had these musical ambassador types of being flown around by on taxpayer dime. And then with classical music, around the same time, the CI starts something called the Congress for Cultural Freedom, which is this big arts and.
Now, on a year, on a tax dollars go to, the tax dollars go to these kind of people and them agency. On the island, our tax dollar going at the pocket of the politicians. Them go split it up. And when them sell out with natural resource, them get them kickback and them split it up. And the country deteriorate. But the politician then become multi-billionaires. Them have all kind of assets outside of the island. And them own all of what them call crown land, what them want to call it state land, them say them own all these land. And I am here to rebut it, because you can't be a public servant as government and own absolutely anything. This is why them are give Andrew Holiness a forensic audit. Then we're going to line up all of these public servants, these little police, these little ones where are going with themselves, and we give them the same audit, and we just take the time, go down there, just work it out. It can be worked out. The people and where the bad guys, we just push them out. Who forget arrested, get arrested. Who forget decapitated, get decapitated. Who forget them bloodline totally erased, we call it delete or erasure. Then get that, and we move forward onto a golden age, because we have to get back there. That's how it's going. But we have to clean house first, and we can't unite without we have truth. All right, see a brethren here, him not look like me, but hear the truth when him a talk. That means that me and him can resonate, because him a deal with the truth, and me a deal with truth. So, we can put whatever else differences aside, and know, say, boy, we can unite on just that. That common ground, truth. You understand? And he would have said, yo, you're one black man, man. And they would have said, hey, yo, you're one white man, man. But hey, not the same truth we have. So we just move with that spirit there. And make the bad guys them stay in a fit them own group. Don't come mix with. The difference that. Continue, my brother. Me have to cut it so them not beat me and say me, strike me. Even if them strike me, them are going to send me and make some talk and I do the thing.
Literature and music hub. There's basically hundreds of poets, musicians, thought leaders in the art space, in the culture space, in the music space. Gloria Steinem was a part of that with the feminist movement. But among that were classical musicians. So at the time, Shostakovich and these kind of Russian classical composers were seen to be superior to like Western classical musicians. And so even in the classical music hub, the CIA organizes these conferences through the like musical conferences, musical exchanges, musical concerts in Rome, in Paris, in Germany, through this CIA funded cutout, the Congress for Cultural Freedom, in order to show that actually Western classical music is, you know, competes on par and is better than Russian classical music. And then you had the whole rock and roll movement, where you had this export to essentially behind the Iron Curtain. You had this anti-authoritarian, you know, challenging the government, you know, rock music space.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of this stuff was sponsored by the U.S. government, sponsoring rock concerts by the Berlin Wall to try to, you know, show that we're against the, you know, the big government of the Soviet Union and against.
You hear what the US are promote outside there against all other countries, but them no want you do that to them, and them oppress us as a people here. If me did just attack it, and I go say, boy, the Virginia that's crazy. But here it is, brawling. And listen, right now me are looking at my group from a thing, nobody not really have no interest in them kind of topic here. So I not have no view, but I go present it out there and it take time to stay. Because we have to catalog these truths, literally. And it's the next thing when we notice. You see, when we share information where not benefit people for them own personal per se, like a this for them situation, we not get no support, you know. As some Mickey Mouse thing we say go on and we just ignore it and do like we not see it. But what we are trying to say is this. Information are going to manifest itself naturally, and it just up to the ones that to accept it and reject it. And not all to we just do our work done. We know that CIA influence everything, including the government of Jamaica here. And it's not in a good way. It cannot be in a good way. So we just share that information here as honorable clarification from when we make a statement out there. They are them not look at us as if we're crazy. You just do your own research, validate it, or stand down, laugh on the chat out there.
Against Big Brother. Then you had this in the rap space. You mentioned Cuba. So in the early 2000s, the CIA, the USAID, the State Department really began to turn attention to the rap and hip hop space as it, you know, achieved this kind of cultural saturation, and did this in a bunch of countries. So a very famous one is this group called the San Isidro Collective in Cuba. In 2009, this CIA cutout called the National Endowment for Democracy, it was conceived of by the CIA director in 1983. The CIA gets a copy of every single grant that they give. This was disclosed in 1986 in the Washington Post. Its founder says, "We
Them do something similar with the UN grant them. So when them sign up the people them inside of them groups, these leaders get a chunk of money, and then them find a little way for funnel a little thing to these individuals, let them feel good, but then they know the truth about what is going on. Again, when a group is foreign funded, it means it's foreign owned. And when you volunteer to be a member of those groups, it's no different from the unvolunteer, you know, say, status when them give you a citizen, because you never volunteer to be a citizen. But you have volunteered for going after them kind of groups, being controlled, regulated, totally drifting out there. But you're gonna tell yourself, say, yes, you do all kind of thing, and yes, you have this documentation, and yes, and the Babylonian them just a laugh at you. Like parasite, they're attached to all around our door. And this are the distinction with what me I try to express. Separate and apart. Separate and apart.
were created because the CIA used to get in trouble in the 1960s and 70s. I'm sorry, groups seen as subsidized by the CIA were scandalized by that. So our endowment, NED, the National Endowment for Democracy, was set up so that we could fund the groups that the CIA, though they'd be too scandalized to get from the CIA. Meanwhile, the CIA gets a copy of every single one of their grants. So
Maroons, L.A. Lewis, what the one name, the gay one name, Richard Curry, Rastology. What the next one name when I tell us I need to sit uptown? What name, man, him love wear a little beaver peak type of up there. And him used to highlight the maroon. Bright brethren, what's his name? Hold on. I go and look for him around here, because I have him in my thing. You know. Don't want to pass some of the mention the name, because the money had it long time, long before I will heap of them out. Yeah, man, long before a lot of them. Now we're gonna have a shot somewhere. What do you mean again? Buzzra. Yeah, Buzzra. Maroon Buzzra. Yeah, man. And that man that come and tell us, say, man, Spaniard, cause none of them don't know. Everybody going to university to learn some things, you know. And all of them wake up, you know, the man, them liquor frequency around here where them put everybody to sleep. What them couldn't do is, you know, mess with the DNA. Once you kind of start look away, you go, you know, your DNA go activate and it go bring back you to these kind of memory. So you're going to look on things totally different from, you know, the ones them were asleep, literally. Literally, and them truth here are the judgment for the ones them out there where, you know, I live in a lie, I live in a fallacy, I live in an illusion, and them love it. God, the truth terrify them. Yeah, man, the truth rearrange them. And them truth here are the truth will make them foundation of a kind of going a different level again. Them have to find a different source for fund them thing. So it not scandalize when we are scrutinize it. Again, if your organization is foreign funded like these kind of ones, you know what I mean? Then it's foreign owned and controlled. Them not have no freedom to express people. Please don't let them fool you. They will.
it's just an empty cutout for it. So in 2009, they write this memo. They have this in-house journal called the Journal of Democracy. We pay for it as taxpayers. And in this 2009 memo, they're talking about how their attempts at regime change in Cuba have been unsuccessful, and they should try a more targeted Afro-Cuban strategy because the Afro-Cuban population is actually is higher, I think, than it's like the highest, most popular demographic in Cuba, and yet they're underrepresented in the Cuban government, and there are grievances that can be inflamed in Cuba.
Now, you hear a CIA operative where look on the data out there tell you say over Cuba where you see there yellow Ladino type of people will look like Castro. It might make you know say a people will look like me are the majority over there. But the mainstream media hide these people. Literally. Argentina is a place where I meet a people like I populate those areas until them wipe way out and make space for them brand new European vagabonds. But listen, this is a truth, you know. But truth is so raw, these people will get offended when you talk this truth. And listen on, they were not offended when them a genocide win, when them come over here and create them act of spiritual and genetic genocide. They had no kind of remorse for doing that. Because right now, them say them structure and them call my land, which is America, their own, and said them are the suffering. Until we rebut it, until we refute it, until we choose to stop participate in it. That's all it is. So I give thanks to them truth, yeah. You know, get it every day. Well, nowadays, information, yeah, you will get access now to a lot of truth.
Cuba on that basis. they did this demographic survey. Again, this is a CIA cutout doing this, and they say, okay, well, the Afro-Cuban population is disproportionately unemployed, prone to using drugs, and has cultural salience communicated through rap and hip.
Listen, I'm going to make this start back again a little bit. So I want to get the context. Inside of these people's private organization and meeting and boardroom, this is what the memo said, just like what the brethren are break down to you. What them look and say, what, Jamaica, what, the West Indies, the Caribbean area, what, so much people, what, and them just move in and take away your perception, take away your mind, and give you all kind of entertainment, where them fluff with money. For you, look at that illusion and you got daydream. You literally got daydream. So the see this guy here break it down for us in not talk specifically in our location, but it's the same blueprint. If you're keen enough, yeah, if you all hear when reading our set clearly, but it's just an example of the many different CIA funded organizational institutions out there. These separate and distinct communities where appear to be free and I deal with sovereignty, but them is owned and controlled by the foreign entity.
Proportionately unemployed, prone to using drugs, and has cultural salience communicated through rap and hip hop music. A year later, they begin funding together with USAID. So it's USAID, which is a giant CIA money funnel, plus the CIA's effectively proprietary cutout, begin funneling money and aid to this rap collective called the San Isidro Movement, who pens this anthem about taking to the streets to rebel against the government. At the same time, USAID sets up a fake Twitter in Cuba. It's called Zunzanillo. This is a big scandal where humanitarian funds were earmarked for Pakistan by USAID, and then they were diverted through Cayman Islands banks to set up a Twitter knockoff. Because in 2009, 2000.
Now, you hear what I'm saying? That? You have money where the US push out, like them would have pushed out some money to Jamaica, earmarked for Jamaica, and it diverted, gone somewhere else in a Andrew account, and them wife account, a sudden thing, a sudden work. We as a little common people, we don't have access to these information. We can't even read and write properly. We don't even have banking, nothing at all. You understand? All we might have is a little checking account where we just add some money on it just to make sure, say, you know, we stay in the wire thing. That's all. And for the ones that will have them $15 million in the bank and them are going with themselves, hey, on a better pay attention. Pay attention. Right, it's coming, you know. Yeah, man. First, them have to crush the poor man. And then them look for on way of propose to themselves as rich and smile at them and take everything one got and put it in a chains like the rest. It's only the sovereign ones that can stand up sovereign in their capacity because they express themselves that way freely. No man not gonna force them to do that. Like how them gonna force you to be them citizen and them slave. Two different worlds, people.
2010, this is when the Arab Spring was going on.
Right.
So you had these CIA social media revolutions. And so they wanted to bring a Cuban Spring there. So they have these insider documents that end up leaking a couple years later, where they say that the goal is to attract people, because Cuba at the time had banned Twitter, and so they wanted to make this look like this was by Cubans for Cubans. So USAID got these two unsuspecting business executives to set up this Twitter knockoff.
Now I hear how Andrew Holiness do film business here. I'm not gonna think say it's for Jamaican, by Jamaican, we don't know nothing about these things. Are the same blueprint, people, same blueprint, same MO.
The plan was, according to the USA documents, to attract them with by advertising a social media website that would emphasize sports,
CIA I go block me, you know, them money I go knock me thing, you know, them I say, oh, the sovereign man I go and so. Yeah, man, the CIA I go lick me hard, man.
music and hurricane updates. And then once they hit 100,000 subscribers, they would switch to anti-government political messaging. And so this group, by the way, the San Isidro movement, and their anthem they penned to try to, get people to take to the streets in a color revolution. You can still see odes to this in Art Basel in Miami. I live in Miami. That you still see this. Miami was the biggest CIA hub for the whole Cold War. There was the station JM Wave, the Miami station, was the largest CIA hub in the world. And because Miami was so close to, it's giant port city, and it's the Caribbean, it's Central America, you get the South America tip. So anyway, even today in 2024, the Biden administration overthrew the government of Bangladesh.
You what I'm saying? The biggest CIA agency down in Miami, and here in specifically say the Caribbean in Central America. That's what I want to make sure them keep an angle on, because them know so the star seed arise from them area, the people. That's why them have to spoil up with young children them, especially the young man them. Them have to literally spoil up the young man them, because these are the warriors. These are the kings. Them just not know that's who them is. And Babylon can't make we know, else we're going to start act better. We're going to start act more appropriate. We're going to naturally just start do the right thing, because we never can do nothing wrong. But Babylon know all of this. Babylon can't allow it, so they have to pollute it. Salute Darian Kerry. Salute, honor, complete gratitude for passing through. Honor.
They did so in part through Ned grants, this CIA cutout, grants to Bangladeshi hip hop artists. And even these documents leaked where Ned actually wrote back to the State Department that they funded these 2 rap and hip hop videos that were designed to get people to take to the streets, to sow distrust in government, to inflame tensions between the youth and unemployed people and the government not serving them. And the Biden administration at the same time opened up this brand new center called the Music.
Now, you hear what them said them do? At the very same CIA fund these people, you know. Because they want to destabilize certain areas. Now, pay attention to the maroon activity here. You see them attack freedom? You know, hear them going like them want to take over the government of Jamaica. You know, hear them going like them just want to bring up war, some civil war on the island when them not defend freedom. Them just want to be a disruptor. They just want to be an agitator. And me I tell you, say, at them memo, at them, what do you call it, modus operandi, at them agenda. Pay attention. You know, hear nobody else I say West Indian, opposed to I, and probably a few of my friends then. Are we alone as a West Indian? Because West Indian did not sign no treaty. West Indian cannot sign no treaty. No treaty, no contract, or give away nothing. Because just to sign a treaty, I got put we in a slavery. It got end slavery. Because the land is us. We're not separate from the land. Babylon know this. Babylon is totally aware of this. And that's the people not cognizant of this truth. And we have the sellout them where just love them belly, licky, and through some of them twisted. You know, them just not like nothing where whole, nothing where complete, nothing where good. Them not like nothing where proper. So them allow foreigner to sow discord amongst us, bring divide amongst us, and structure them, give them like a foreign money, and foreign car, and foreign all kind of things. And then say, West Indian, oh no, nothing. So these maroons now turn the police, turn the slave catcher, turn the agitator, turn the oppressor, and be like a buffer to secure the foreign masters. So the CIA man I tell you brawling, but me I get it in our own term, our grassroots level. This is what it is. If you talk to 1,000 CIA operative agents, especially when them in a managerial position, them are gonna express the very same thing what a brother there said. You know, and them standard operational procedure, literally. But them thing I go over common people head. When you move on the slave frequency, you know really can dissect or cipher what is being said, brawling in front of you. You don't really get it. It go right over most people head, literally. Unless people like me and others out there were even much sharper than me, I got just, you know, match it up. You know what I mean? Just put it together and express it like this. The Maroons them not have that capacity, literally. Them have a servitude capacity, them have a servitude frequency, a deceptive nature. Just look at them out there. Some young, very young people, nice young 50-year-old and 60-year-old man, all them look like them are 90. Just look at them out there. Look at them. Young 30-year-old man look like them are 120. Look at them. Joke them out there, man. Them now have no truth, people.
The Global Music Diplomacy Bureau within the State Department. And the State Department is what coordinates CIA and USAID. So I think in 2024, they brought 22 rap and hip hop artists from 14 different countries for a 3-day training session at the State Department. You know, they're training them how to mobilize youth, how to get people to the streets. And this is another big thing with these concerts. They simulate street mobilization.
Right.
When you get all these people together in the street, you get them in the practice of taking to the street, and they put aside all the differences they might have with each other on grievance grounds. Like, for example, there was an underground rock scene that the CIA and State Department worked with in Yugoslavia in the 1990s when they were backing something called the Otpor movement, which is kind of the origins of this like iron fist for all these color revolutions. And what the whole purpose is, you're the enemy of my enemy is my friend. You have all these groups who don't necessarily like each other, but when they are infighting, they can't form a unified front to win an election or to rally behind like an opposition candidate who will take the place of the leadership. So having the backdrop for organizing being music everyone likes, rather than abortion, when half of the people might not have religious differences, so they might not want to organize about that. Or tax policy, when half of the people you might want to recruit are business owners and the like. Or energy policy, when half of the people might like cheap fossil fuels, half of the people might like renewable energy. But the music cuts through all of that. We're all together. We have one thing in common, which is that we hate this government. But now we're all marching together. We're all in the streets together. We're all vibing to the same music. And so you see this all the time. And this is also another thing, like Bono, for example, who's been kind of my bête noire on some of this USAID stuff, because Bono's out here talking about how USAID has, the cuts to USAID have killed 300,000 people so far, and it's like,
did he say that?
He did. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's citing this Boston University study, which is complete garbage. Even in the study itself, it's like, well, we don't count duplicate deaths. So theoretically, if someone dies from dysentery, AIDS, Ebola, SARS, Zika, and MERS, we count that as 12 deaths. And none of these things, nobody's auditing this. Like, basically, a lot of people see me as like a force behind this USAID shutdown. And that was a major blow to the capacity of a lot of these intelligence operations, these covert influence operations. As I just mentioned, USAID is running the rap game in many countries, let alone what it's doing in terms of impacting markets, what it's doing in terms of impacting governments. So there's a lot of people who are very angry at that, but they can't really think of a good reason to keep it in light of the fact that you don't see a lot of foreign leaders complaining about USAID being shut down. Like, When Trump announced the shutdown of USAID, the president of Mexico came out and said, "Thank God." The president of El Salvador came out and said, "Thank God." The heads of the drug commissions in Peru said, "Thank God," because when Bolivia banned USAID, they finally got cocaine under control. It turned out the USAID cocaine programs were responsible in large part for keeping the cocaine going, which is a common story here because, you saw the same thing in Afghanistan. You saw the same thing in Syria. You saw the same thing, the Golden Triangle, the Golden Crescent, in Colombia and the like. But anyway, I think the music stuff is so interesting because, you have like the military, I think in 2023 began this massive sponsorship of South by Southwest. In Miami, where I live, the largest music performing arts center, it's called the Adrian Arsh Center. Adrian Arsh is one of the top 5 largest donors to the Atlantic Council, which is 7 CIA directors on its board. It's funded by the Pentagon, the State Department, USAID, and it bills itself as NATO's think tank. And the benefactor for that is doing the largest performing arts center in Miami. And a lot of this is because politics is downstream of culture,
Right.
and so if you can influence the culture and influence the mythology, you effectively set the bounds for what's politically possible.
Wow. Give thanks and praise. Give thanks and praise. Again, information share. Information share. And you know what I mean? Sometimes we talk a certain way where we say it's thought provoking and it will make people get upset and want to fight with and want to beat with. But after a while, when them think about what we are saying and when them go do them own research, them just got quiet. Yeah, them all tell me sorry, them private, because them now go come out front and say them did wrong, So we ego stay. But you see them go get quiet. And them are some of the people them when I see them just silently subscribe to me. And them now watch me when everybody are looking up. But them stay abreast of what we are doing. Why? Because the very same truth what we are share, it will resonate with ones and ones. But it's about truth. And not about the hype. And not about the many, 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 many views. And not even about the many, 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 many likes. It's about a truth what the earth I choose to deny, the earth I choose to ignore, yet it is impossible to do so. Truth manifests itself, unfolds itself naturally and organically. The truth not really beg friend. The truth not ask permission. The truth does express itself just like that. So we do give thanks and praise. Yeah, man, Dairy and Cleary. Boy, madam, my years, hang out with we, Yeah, man. But a time will come where, we structure a way where we can voice talk and them thing there. Yeah, man. Because right now we create a secure area where it's virtual. Yeah, man, but it's like the edge of protection where you hear them talk about in the Bible. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. It's like a sanctuary. That's why the ones that have to reverence man's sanctuary will not come around like say boy on a hooligan now on a rude and disrespectful and so we're humble and so we maintain with serene tranquility on a thing so we're not gonna just perplex with and we just accept it. Nah man. We're gonna send our energy to one man. And make on have to check on ourselves, We don't even have to do it. It's like just reach on naturally. Yeah. And that's when, one's gonna get searched. Energy are search, And when it find wanting, then it show on how to correct on yourself, It highlight on deficiencies, on a defect. Yeah, because some always want trouble when I trouble, So, Yeah. So the earth I run now naturally. The earth I balance itself. The earth I clean up itself. The earth I correct itself because it has been out of course. And while it has been out of course, the deception and, the fallacy, the lies, the tyranny, the dictatorship, are them things that pervade the earth. Individual rights and freedom are being restricted, being abrogated, being infringed. Yeah, man. We have to find what we have to remember, say, boy, there was a most high creator where it start our life, and then for some reason, something go on. But some other people now will call themselves government. Government seem like the political entity seem like it replaced the Christianity. It literally replaced religion, politics. Politics seems to be a religion. How our people deal with it? Yeah, man, when them fear heal the most side, them heal the politician. Brawling and tell them, brawling, say the politician, give them food and give them house and give them all of these things. Them not say the most high creator of nature, Yeah, them say the politician. However, let us give thanks for the free expression, the perfect articulation, not just free but true, yeah, expression. Yeah, man. Perfect articulation. Yeah, man. This perfection. We do give thanks and praise. So it's a step-by-step process as usual. And we salute the people and we're in a rush to get to where them are go. I don't know. I'm not hear if them reach where them are race I go yet. But we remain rooted in a truth. We stay on the right side, the correct side of the issue. We stay within the scope of what them call the law. We're written and expressed. And yeah, we just give thanks out there. Yeah, man. Boy, I'm go up on the beach this morning a long time. I make a ride go around Elsha side there, so true, me I kind of fit up the bike. It's not really 100 for me, I go on with myself. But I go up on the beach, full of energy, and then take on the back road and go up on the hilly climb with the bike. And boy, may I tell you, it was fun. But I know my wheel them kind of bends and through them wheel on a wheel with spokes. And now I go get for tune them, so I have to try get to brand new wheel where stay away more straight and things. And also get some sports wheel, get two set of wheels same way. So I don't know we love a bike, I'm still have to go get one of my little light racer bike or when me have a mountain bike, dirt bike. I put on some big wheel on it so I can ride on the dirt, I can ride on the sidewalk. I not play in an era out there. When I see the craziness, I just jump off of the road and go up on the dirt and get them weight. So me work out there. Yeah, man. I must say, with the improvement, when I see them I try make over Portmore, I know for them investors and not really for the people, but I want the road people and make an area where the bicycle man them can ride and the runner them can ride. Yeah, outside of the main traffic. Something similar to how them would have it around an airport. I think I got somewhere, I don't want to think of foreign that so long ago. But I think I got one of them location there, I see them have the road where them have it marked and then you have a little area where it's just like how them would have said bus lane. You have to know say, boy, we have a bicycle lane, we need that. And the same bicycle lane, the runner them can run from the inside of that. So we're not for day in the street with them traffic and them crazy people that just fly past the word and fly past you more time than more just the breeze. I blow you off for your bike rasta. So I want them to do some improvement. Because me is a man I got always a job on the road. I got always a run all when I'm 90. I got put on my little sneakers and my shorts and I now come up with a walking stick. I come run same way. 90. I tell them that. So they are them have to prepare them thing there, get the road a certain kind of way and we can appreciate that. Yeah man. Anyway, we give thanks for the time, we give thanks for the moment. Yeah. Therapy, 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 philosophical reasoning. Give thanks out there. Pass through again later. Remember, not for the lights, for the information, we're esoteric, when nobody else on this island present. How can they? When them their class I learn from we secretly. Salute free people. Theory and clearing. Complete respect with power. Good sister.